Looking at new markets in Southeast Asia like Laos, Myanmar and Vietnam, synergy is one of the main components for the Serba Dinamik Holdings Berhad moving beyond the Malaysian market. And going global, the Serba Dinamik story, today we are at Common Ground Bukit Bintang. As you can see, it's a pretty place and it's a very comfortable place here. Talks about how it has evolved and how they think big. And I am joined by none other than Datuk Mohd Abdul Karim Abdullah, the Group Managing Director and also Chief Executive of Serba Dinamik Holdings Berhad, and also Meera, Head of Legal Serba Dinamik, and also Yusni Mohamed Yusof, the VP of Corporate Communications Serba Dinamik. Thank you for joining us today, ladies and also gentlemen. So how are you guys today? All good?
Yeah, fine.
Okay, so Datuk, let's start off with when you set up a footprint overseas. When we talk about overseas, every country has different nuances. When we talk about legalities, culture, and also other things like as easy as how you say hello, for example. How equipped is Serba in venturing into this global market, and especially in Southeast Asia, like I said?
I would say that the very first important things to emphasize here is we have a big intention or goals to achieve where we want to position the company as a multinational company of preferred choice. So when we are saying that we are a multinational company of preferred choice, the so-called geographical positioning outside of Malaysia is very important. And if we really want to become a global entity, then we are of the opinion that we have to make a presence even out of all this Southeast Asia region. So that is why we are positioning ourselves also in United States of America, in Houston, also in Gulf of Mexico, and of course other countries which are also important, New Zealand, Australia, and other footprints that we are already present for the past more than 15 years already, the Central Asia, the Middle East country. So back to what you was trying to say just now, Jasmine, is we always make a concept that think globally, act locally. So act locally is where that component comes in, taking into considerations of all these local aspects, the importance of utilizing the resources locally, understanding the culture, and also the legal aspect of the country that we are operating in.
So Meera, when we talk about legalities at different areas of the world, for example, because it's not only focused in Southeast Asia, when I also say Southeast Asia, when we talk about that, it's more relatable to us, like different cultures, for example. How are you handling that?
It is something that we have already ventured into from last year, and so by now I'm already quite familiar how it goes. It's generally a very fast pace. How we do work on it is that we always work with external solicitors from that country that we are working on a project with, where the familiarity of the law would be a lot better well known to them. Of course, we have solicitors here who also work with us, and we go by the advice of our solicitors who work with the solicitors abroad in that particular region or country.
It's all about understanding the market. When we talk about legalities and all that, we also want to talk about communications, because without communications, the backbone of any company, it's not easy, because you can't go knocking on everybody's door and just knock. There must be something that takes into their interest and also your interest as well. So Yusni, that is your part about communications. How are you juggling communications in order to get there and think bigger when we talk about communications for Serba Dinamik?
Jasmine, I think communication comes naturally when you are here in Malaysia, when you are overseas, as long as you have the respectful heart, you can just connect the dots. So I think the first thing you do is to smile, and the rest comes very easy.
And being from Malaysia with a diverse culture, it's also easier to adapt with other people, I would have said. So when we talk about also challenges that we go through, it's not as easy as a lot of people think. When we talk about venturing into markets like globally, people might think, oh, that sounds very easy. So how do you actually do it?
I would like to also take this opportunity to emphasize that in the company, Serba Dinamik, we do have quite a very strong desire to, give the opportunity and also to prove the role of women in terms of the corporate world. So that's why these two ladies is around here now to also showcase that there are capable women around, and we are talking about their capabilities is beyond the borders of Malaysia. So that is where they are also playing their role and responsibility outside of Malaysia. So I think this is very important, and so far I would say that the company is quite happy, and it also emphasized and prove it to not only Malaysian, to the other part of the world, that Malaysian women have the ability to actually play and contribute in the corporate world itself.
And we talk about women empowerment. It's a very interesting topic. It's also back to our topic, which is think big. So a lot of companies are also evolving in women empowerment, and you having two ladies to support as a backbone for Serba Dinamik is something that everybody should be proud of. So Meera, a personal, I would say, thoughts on women empowerment, and how do you feel being in a company that actually embraces women empowerment?
I'm actually very grateful for that, for being given this opportunity, because it really sets you on a level playing field in terms of performing alongside my business units and working with my business units. They're actually very demanding. As you know, we are big, we have set our foot globally in so many countries. Quite often we have simultaneously many projects at hand. So legal is actually a very important backbone of any public listed company, you know, and we are of course no different. So it really puts me on a very good ability to learn, grasp and move alongside as fast as they are. Yeah.
And Yusni, when we talk about, I am so interested in when we talk about women empowerment is because it's not easy, and gender bias is something that we want to push aside with the new Malaysia Baharu, and Serba Dinamik is approaching that in a very good way. And you as a communications VP in Serba Dinamik, how do you look at the people around you, and when you look about the market that you are venturing into, how do you communicate to these people, and not only different cultures, but now you see the level of men and women are about the same, but we do not want to beat them, we want to be with them. So how do you look at it?
I think I would like to thank the management that actually recognized the capability of women in Serba Dinamik. Catching up with all this gender biasness is not an easy thing to do, but I think the support from the management is the utmost important. Give me a lot of confidence to face the challenges, and I think like the rest of the men in the company that has all this technical knowledge and whatnot, in corporate communication, the challenge is the language, the challenge is building the network and being courteous to others. So I think it comes naturally, as you mentioned it, we have diverse background in Malaysia. So I think with all the direction of the company going overseas, we just have to embrace it and, you know, adapt with the changes and whatnot.
So Datuk, when we talk about think big, we focused on a lot of things today, like culture, women empowerment and all that. When we also want to talk about risk management. There's a lot of risk when we talk about all these components that we talked about today. So how are you going about that?
From the perspective of the corporate practice, in the organizations we have a different committee looking into different aspects of the risk. And to be a bit more specific, for example, like if we take up projects overseas, we do have a so-called technical team to look into the aspect of the risk. We do have people like Meera coming in to look from the legal aspect from the risk, and then a lot of other things is being taken into consideration. The finance, corporate finance will come in to look at the risk of it. And on the other aspect, when we try to do some so-called merger and acquisitions, then also all these people will come in. So I would say that risk is a very important component, like what you have mentioned rightfully. We fully agreed onto it. But again, like what you have mentioned also, think big will also drive us to overcome all this kind of fear to all this risk component. And I think I would say that for the past journey of 25 years, we have really overcome all this kind of situation. And at the moment, we are continuing our journey, connecting the dots so that we can become a so-called a global, capable, recognized, reputable brand internationally.
And all this comes with the support of, like I said, communication, legalities,
Sure.
and other components of the company
Correct,
itself.
correct.
In order to make everything big, everybody has to work together, and there are a lot of risks out there, and it's all about managing the risk.
Correct.
I'd like to say thank you very much to three of you for joining me today. I've learned a lot. Datuk, thank you very much for
Welcome.
supporting the women empowerment whole idea. Thank you very much. And that's all from me, Jasmine Obaka, today at Common Ground Bukit Bintang for Going Global, the Serba Dynamic story.